are watching the Fan Club.
You're watching the Fan Club.
And you're watching the Fan Club. Do you know what time it is?
And you know what time it is.
It's time for the Fan Club. Let's go. Hey!
I can't do this on my own, cause you know things ain't always sweet when you out here in these streets. But my morpher when it morphed, I made a fake one.
So Des Moines, let's make some noise, please. Help me welcome Steve Burns, Donovan Patton, and Josh De La Cruz. And welcome to Iowa. Hey. Either of you been to Iowa?
No, I had it.
You have?
Yeah, my stepmom's family actually is from Cedar Rapids.
Hey.
Go out there on Thursday, said hi, and because I wanted to say hi to all of you. You guys are great. Yeah.
So I had to ask, Donovan, on the show, your name is Donovan. So how, Steve and Josh and Joe, how, knowing that Steve was using the name Steve, when you auditioned and got the parts, how did your name go from Donovan to Joe on the show?
Well, Steve, being the OG, the original, there was some confusion from time to time when he was outside of the television, whether or not he should be Steve Burns or he should be, out looking for clues. So it was a calculated decision to give me the name Joe, or whoever was hired to be the brother, to give them the name Joe before it was even hired, so that there would be some kind of separation. And just luckily enough, they didn't hire somebody named Joe.
Yeah, I advised him, right? I was like, dude, it's confusing.
Yes.
It's the Fred Rogers paradigm. Everyone assumes, because Fred Rogers was actually the guy, like that was who he really is. People just assumed that I wasn't an actor, that I was just that dude. And, but then Josh was, no, this is my name.
Yeah, we gave him the choice.
There was the choice, and I remember when I got the job, my agents were like, hey, they want to use your name, but there's no pressure because we understand that Steve was Steve, and you might not want that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah, the other name's Ben, so if it's not Josh, then it would be Ben. And I thought about it, I talked to Steve, I didn't get a chance to talk to you a lot.
I screen my calls.
I'm blocked still. It's fine. Oh, there you go. And I thought about it, and there's so much of me in this character. Yes, it's a character I play, but it's also a person that I aspire to be in my day-to-day. We're all human beings like everyone else, and we get frustrated, and we're not the best that we can be. And but doing this job that I never aspired to have. I never thought I'd ever want to be in children's television. But now that I'm here, it's a dream. It's a dream job for me, and I'm so grateful for it because of it and because of the role that I play. I have to take time. I have to take a deep breath instead of getting angry. Take a deep breath and maybe it's like, oh, maybe I misunderstood something. Maybe I should communicate. And so that was the gift of, accepting the name of John.
Josh, obviously, maybe a little bit older out of that time frame, so maybe not necessarily, watch the show, but you were aware of the show, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, a little bit. My little sister was right in the exact proper age demographic for that time. was somewhat aware, but she was living in New Jersey and I was living in New York, and so the first time that I actually saw her see Blue's Clues was when I made my first appearance on it. At that time she was 6 years old, and so we were, in this sports bar because they had a whole bunch of TVs. There were like 4 or 5 dudes like at the bar that were like, "Where's the Yankees game? Yo, bro, where's the Yankees game? What is all this? What?" And so I finally like showed up outside of the house, and she just was like next to me and was like, "Oh." Oh. So that was so I was aware of it, but not as I didn't have a proper awareness of just how significant this show was to people in their lives and the place it held in their homes and in their hearts. So in a way, it was blissfully ignorant, because I think that might have made me more nervous than I was when I began.
My nephew was the age, like he was like 2 when it came out. And it was his favorite show, and he had no idea it was me. And we were like, bruh. And then eventually he pieced it together, and he thought it was a show that I made just for him. And then when he got to like first grade, and then people talked about Blue's Clues, he was mad. He talks about it the same. That was weird for me. It was a weird journey. My son had the same thing. It was he was going to preschool, and it was a rainy day, so instead of having recess, they ended up like watching the teacher put in Blue's Clues. And then he was like, "That's my dad!" And then all of the other kids in the class were going, "That's my dad! That's my dad!" Which knows, I didn't know that. No! I was like, "What?" Yeah, she was like, "No, he actually is," and then the teacher I think just gave up. She was like, "Sure." It wasn't true, I wasn't all of it.
You mentioned the impact. That it has on people. Can you talk a little bit about learning about that impact that it had? When did you realize, was it doing conventions? Was it just out in public? That moment that you were like, oh, this does mean a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, like being out in public, that's definitely, it's always a wonderful surprise. Thankfully, it's always a lovely interaction. The strangest bit was, like, during the heat of the pandemic, I'd have, like, a mask, my glasses, and a baseball cap on, and I'd be, like, in Target, and somebody would come up behind me and be like, "Are you Josh?" And I'd turn around and be like, how does that happen? And walking around, like, it's very rare that I get recognized now, but it's always a lovely interaction. But I think my favorite part are the conventions, because we film in a green box, and you were in a blue box, but we're in a green box for the better part of the year. It's still a box. It's still a box. It's just a box. And it's 12 of us in a room, and we make the show. We have a great time. We love working on the show, but we don't actually get to interact with the people that watch the show. And so, getting the chance to do this and meet the people that watch the show and that have been fans of the show since Steve is such a gift. And so I'm just so thankful that everyone just came out to see us, because we're the only reason we're here is because of you.
It's like what Josh was saying, Blue's Clues for me always felt very personal and very small, because it was just, I couldn't even see the producers or the crew or anything. It was just like a blue, it was like being in the bottom of a swimming pool with a camera.
Yeah.
And it was just me and you, right? Because the camera was you. And so it felt very small and very personal. And I knew that we were like being Sesame Street, and I knew intellectually, I knew all of that. But my experience of it was very, very small. And I gotta be honest, it wasn't until that viral video thing that I really got it. And that was the most humbling, crazy response. I was like, oh my goodness, we're one of those shows. We are, like, I had kids' TV shows that I loved and were very important to me, Grover, Sesame Street, for others. And to see that response it was actually really overwhelming. It was hard to, it's still hard to like get your arms around in some way, but I didn't really get it until then. You know, that's what I felt.
So as I mentioned, we do have a microphone right there if you would like to line up. I know there's a lot of you, so I'm going to ask for a few things. One, I know you may have multiple questions. We want to get through as many as possible, so if you can find your one best question and ask it. Also, I know there's stories that you want to tell. Again, we want to get through as many as possible, so if you can get straight to your question, that would be awesome. Hello.
All right, so my question is, when it came to doing the stuff with Blue, Paprika, etc., did you all have like puppets or some like animatronic in there, or was it all animated?
Well, that's a question of degree. I had nothing. Right? When we did it, it was like, we were doing that on desktop Macintosh for no money. And it was an experimental kids TV show, so I had like literally nothing to look at. Because it would be a problem for us if there was anything else in the frame with me. Even like little pieces of tape were problematic for us. But we got better and better at it by the time Dino took over. He had a little bit more, we were better at it then. But still very little.
Yeah, they would cut ping pong balls in half and paint them blue.
Yeah. But by the time Josh got there, he had everything you see in the Star Wars thing. Like, he had boots and like green outfits running around. He had cutouts of blue. And he had all the good toys.
Typical youngest one. Yeah, typical.
But the truth is, a lot of that stuff is a lot of the working with the animation stuff is easier than you think it is.
Yeah.
It's actually simpler. It's the really simple looking stuff that is really difficult. Usually.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
What's going on, Miles? Miles Morales there.
Thank you for crime fighting locally.
Yeah, definitely.
When you were on the show, how many times did you guys have like dark ages where there was like nothing?
Oh, dark ages in what sense?
Like there was nothing you could do, like the show was lowering in ratings.
What would we do during dark ages? You can't worry about that kind of thing. You can't focus on that because whether you're working on the show or like personally as an actor, like you have ups and downs, right? You focus on what you can control, and yeah, sometimes you get bummed out. Sometimes you're just depressed even though everything's going well. And in those times, you just kind of have to take care of yourself and try to do what you need to do so that you can function and get through the next day. Thankfully, like I had the best crew. They were family, and so we never had any bad days on set. We had difficult days where things were maybe more difficult than they should be, or I was tired. But because we all had each other's backs, we never had any dark times on set, really. And so that was definitely a gift. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to take the notes from the show, it's like if you find yourself in a difficult spot, slow down, use your mind, take a step at a time, think like, what's one thing I can do to make the situation better? What's one thing I can do that will help me toward another goal? And yeah, and like Josh is saying, specifically in the career path of an actor, there's always going to be highs, there's always going to be lows. Like the only constant is that you never quite feel like, oh, this is great for a while. Like, it always feels like it can go away at any moment. And in some ways, that's, a gift because, it allows you to just stay right where you are and keep trying no matter what's going on.
It's a good question, man.
Yeah.
I like it. I always say, I would say, okay, this is difficult now. This is a dark time now, and accept that. And say, okay, this difficult dark time is part of a much bigger time that is hopefully meaningful, right? So instead of saying, oh no, this is a hard time, say, all right, I accept that, I accommodate that. This is an extremely deep question that you asked. And thank you for your question. Yeah, yes, absolutely. It was good movie. Knew it.
First of all, I don't know how to follow that question.
Got it, Scout.
But, yeah, Christopher Reeve, I am not, unfortunately. My question to you guys is, here at Des Moines Con, we're celebrating all things geeky, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, you name it. What do you guys geek out over?
Lord of the Rings.
I really love Star Wars.
Marvel. You know what's crazy? Is I didn't read a huge amount of comic books when I was a kid. X-Men, some Avengers, but I'm a bigger fan now than I was then.
No, I agree. I think in my adult, we didn't really have a comic book store. We had 7-Eleven and you got what you got. And so like I never understood any of the storylines until I was an adult. Just because we didn't have it.
I always read the Savage Sword of Conan. It was like these like large format black and white Conan. I love those. It was like so like Ernie Chan drew a whole bunch of them. It was like
Oh, and Dungeons and Dragons. I played Dungeons and Dragons. That's all. I did that forever when I was a kid.
I wasn't allowed.
Bummer, man.
I know.
You'd have been great. You'd have been great at camping. Oh my god. We should play, bro.
You gotta teach me how to play.
Yeah. You shoot that instead of sleep.
Yes. All right. Sorry.
Hello, I got a question for you. How does it feel that Blue's Clues is popular with autistic children?
Wonderful. Yeah, great. There's been a big impact. Blue's Clues has made a big impact on the autistic community. I wish we knew why specifically so we could do more with that. But I love that. I love that we are able to kind of punch through with media in a way and resonate in a way that other media is not able to do. I feel like it's a superpower of the show, and I'm ferociously proud of that fact. And I think it's awesome. It feels awesome.
Yeah, it's one of the best feelings of being able to do this show. It's like its own gift.
Thank you. Can I have some of your tots? Tina, eat the ham. My lips are real bad. No, I didn't finish my lunch. Some of your tots.
Alright, I probably can't follow up that last question pretty well. That was pretty clever from my head. But how many times have any of you guys found yourself reciting mail call whenever you get mail?
It takes me, I'm serious, people ask me to sing it, I'm like, please. It takes me months to reject that from my head. It's not the mail song that gets me, I don't know about you guys. It's that becomes everything. Like,
Yeah,
I think I'll take a shower.
yeah. It's not far off.
Making tater tots.
The song that I sang the best was the one that they changed. That was now it's time for so long. I just like every time you leave the room. Basically. But I'll be right back in 1 second with the popcorn. Yeah, but then they changed it, so it was just like, Joe had a different, I changed all yours. They were like, you sang that too well. I was like, I didn't sing all of them well, I need this. And they're like, now they're
But yeah, the songs get stuck in our heads. So.
Oh, I wasn't asking about that. I was just asking how many times have you found it?
I know, man. I don't sing it when I get the mail. One thing that that is true when you grow up is mail isn't as fun. Mail is humble. Mail's like, oh, you have to deal with this now. Packages are fun.
Yeah, that is 100% true. If I get a package, I'm like, it's Christmas. If I get mail, I'm way too stressed out to sing.
I'm wondering what's from. It's a jury summons.
Yeah, I couldn't do what you do for an afternoon.
What do you guys do to kind of decompress?
Oh, what do I do to decompress? See. What do I do? Yeah, see, yeah, what do you do?
Josh is full of hobbies.
Josh
has the most hobbies.
I don't know about that, but I definitely have hobbies. I think one of the things that I do have a lot of hobbies, and I'm a little scatterbrained, and I have ADHD, so I'm like a little bit all over the place. But what I'm trying to do more is when I need to decompress, definitely take time for myself, like go to the gym, like exercise. But then when I'm home, I'm home. So be with my dogs and play with my dogs instead of just missing my dogs. Like be with my wife and like spend time with my wife instead of miss my wife.
Dogs came first in that list. But...
Listen, I would say the same exact thing. There are children. And yes, that's what I would do.
I've been playing old man soccer from time to time. When I play like not well. I realized, I look back, I found acting in the 8th grade, and I stopped playing soccer basically at that same time. I was like, oh, I choose this. But I always sort of identified as a soccer player, because that's what I was basically from what I could remember. And then trying to play again as an adult, I see like I'm 46 now, and we're doing this one co-ed league where we're playing against these 20-year-olds, and I'm like, smash into this woman who basically just graduated from UCLA. She's 23, and like I basically caved my chest in. And I'm like, why did I do this in my 20s? So I'm just running around trying not to get hurt, I suppose.
Doesn't sound relaxing.
But there's a form of decompression.
Yeah.
There's So it's like knowing that I have fun doing it, but I'm still not good at it anymore. Is its own thing. I'm like, I'm doing this because I like doing it, not because I'm impressive at it in any capacity.
Yeah.
I live up in the woods in Asia. That whole situation is decompressing. I meditate, and quiet and peace, and that works for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to be able to follow up all these questions, but first off, I just want to say thank you guys for coming here. Steve, Charles, the hero, love you, man. So this is kind of a two-part question, but it's not too long. Steve, when you left the show, was that your personal decision or studio's decision? And then Don was the same way, and then also, this is also for Don and Josh here. What was it like stepping into the shoes of Steve, knowing you had such a huge legacy to live up to?
My decision. Yeah. It's like a three-part question, so I'm just going to. Yes, that was my decision. I think they were like, hey, we'll keep you if you want to stay, but I was going bald, and it was time.
I wasn't fully aware of just the full impact that it was, and so like, it was like when I auditioned, I was up for Blue's Clues and Blair Witch 2 at the same time. So it was really wild.
Same movie, asking for help, it's the camera.
Things happen, you can't always explain. And so then, but then by the time, like I was under contract for like 8 years essentially, so it just kind of, I think the creators of the show had gone back and forth with the network, and it sort of went away on its own, and I don't know, not to get too like about my contracts or whatever, but it was like it finally, they had a clause in my contract where they were able to approve other work that I did, so I was happy for that to finally go away. Actually, I was like, hey, I get to act another stuff again. It was nice. And I went and did a play in Hartford. It was quite wonderful.
Filling in a shoe. I don't think I could ever fill either of your shoes. We're different sizes. But I remember one of the first things they said to me, they pulled me aside, and I still value this. It's one of the, I fell in love with them instantly because they pulled me aside and they said, I don't know if anybody told you this, but you need to hear it before you start. They hired you because they love what you're doing. So don't ever feel any sort of pressure to replicate or do anything that we did in the past. Just do you, celebrate you. And that was so, so great. And then I got to see them work on set because they had to film their scene for the first But I remember being like, oh, I know how to play. Let's do that. And it's been the greatest joy of my life. Exactly what Donovan said, I could do this job for the rest of my life. I love it. But now that we're moving on, I am so excited to see what else is next and what I would like to do in children's television. And so that is my next project now, is trying to figure out. And I have a very, very specific idea, so that's what I'm excited about.
Thank you. And for the record, my new best name is Steve Don Cruz.
Hey. So we got about 15 minutes left. I want to get through as many questions as possible.
We'll try to be concise as possible.
Yeah. Hello.
There we go. My question is, what was the audition process like, and how's it changed over time from host to host?
Yeah, what was your audition process like?
I'll start. I had long hair and earrings. And I thought it was a game show, like The Price is Right. Like, which one is the triangle? Do you know? Great. And I thought I was auditioning for a voiceover in a cartoon. And when I got there was a camera, so I invented Steve. And I don't know why, but I got really close to the camera. And instead of saying, "Do you know?" I was like, "Do you know?" Like, I made it like this really personal, conspiratorial kind of thing. And I liked it. And I was like, oh, this is weird. And I remember Angela, who created Blue's Clues, was just looking at me like this. And they called me back and they're like, if you own a clean shirt, maybe wear it. But it was the kids who got the role, man. It's true. Like, the Nickelodeon kind of didn't want me, but the creators of the show did. And so they did focus groups with little kids. And the little kids picked me. So thank you. You guys got me.
And they did that at every stage of every episode that ever was made. They would take the scripts and make them into a storybook, and they would take them around to focus groups, like preschools and stuff like that. So it was intentionally done at every level to make sure that each episode is crafted to be as specific to what the kids noticed and responded to. My audition, it was like my fourth or fifth audition. The first one I ran away in the middle of a double shift at a restaurant. So instead of having lunch, I went to my first audition. It was like, I had long hair, and then I had towels on the shirt. I don't know. It was like, I saw the thing for the other day. I was like, whoa, that dude, who would ever buy food from that guy? But then when it came time for the screen test, somebody came around, and in between takes, they were like, you sound exactly like Matthew Broderick. I didn't know what to do with that. So the same kind of knee-jerk reaction. You're just in the moment, you're like, my mind is spinning, and it just all popped out. It was like, I said, funny. People usually tell me I sound like Christopher Walken. He did a lot of his audition for Blue's Clues as Christopher Walken. And I was like, it's him. Please cast him. He pulled me aside and he was like, okay, let me go again. Let's both be walking. So he's like, hey, Joe. I'm like, yes, Steve. How you doing? I'm like, what do you want to do today? I don't know. Blue, what do you want to do? So the script ended and we just kept going for a little while. That was mine. So that's kind of been the MO ever since.
I always thought I had pretty Christopher Walken, and then I heard Donovan's, and Donovan's went inside my brain and slayed my Christopher Walken. And never got an unmarked grave, and it never came out ever again.
Sorry, it had to be that way.
It had to be done. There can only be one. But I remember for my audition, it was, again, like focus groups. That was what's so amazing about our show. Our show creator, she has a childhood education development, right? But what I tried to do was just try to do what Steve and Donovan did in this sense of try to be as honest as possible and talk to someone specific on the other side of the lens. And so that's kind of how I approached it.
Yeah. Josh's audition was great. I remember I was pretty involved in that process when the last host, and he came in. I was like, well, that guy can start work tomorrow. And he's young. That guy is great. His audition was wonderful. He was singing, doing all kinds of extra stuff. I said to both these guys, it's important that you find something real to ground this character and lean into the wonder and all this. all this advice, and they're like, yeah, I got it. He just showed up, ready to go.
Thank you.
Hey. Over there.
First of all, I found a clue. Blues. Second
Where?
of all, how has Blues impact the LGBTQ community since it's Pride Month?
Green Puppy was a girl on the show, voiced by Adam Peltzman, our director at the time.
Green Puppy was a girl?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was a girl bully too.
Right.
A girl boss. She would knock down the blocks. She was tough.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know if I can speak to that, but I know that we've always wanted kids to feel safe.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. You need to feel safe. And I'm so proud to be part of a show that puts that first. And, happy Pride.
Yeah. Thank you. Sure. Thank you so much.
Hello. So first off, thank you guys for being part of our childhoods. We love all of you. Are you happy with the way that you have portrayed yourselves and portrayed the characters on the show?
Portrayed ourselves.
On the show? Yeah.
You mean on TV?
Yeah.
Very happy. I love Steve.
What did you change anything about it?
About the portrayal of Steve, about how I did the character? I don't know. Maybe no. You know, I like all the flaws and all the ridiculousness, and I don't think it could have been any other way. Really, it's just that's just what it was. And it seemed to work. So I wouldn't mess with it at all. I like being Steve now more than I ever have. Because now Steve went off to college and studied forensics and is the world's worst detective. And I write episodes and direct and stuff, and I always write myself into Steve enters and eats a cookie, and Josh does all the hard stuff. So I love it. I wouldn't change it.
I love the idea of Steve studying forensics. He's like, wait, where are the other three? Steve, I thought there were forensics. Come on.
What was your personal favorite shows when you were on Hy-Vee?
Mr. Rogers was my guy. Mr. Rogers was my guy. And things that I loved around that age were the Animaniacs, Freakazoid. I watched the movies at 3, so for some reason Total Recall is in my head. If you're watching the show as a toddler, don't watch that one. But yeah.
Yeah, I also I think Steve and I both Team Grover. Grover, I loved watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. There was some show where there was a guy in a space suit and he was teaching drawing, and I can't remember his name, but I watched that one a lot. And then all Transformers and G.I. Joe. I didn't watch robots. If you could get a robot to change into a different thing, I would watch it.
My mom tells me that I was really into Mr. Rogers. I don't really remember that so much, but I guess part of me knew to study, but I was a Muppets fan, but specifically the Muppets that Frank Oz did, Grover, Bert. There's something broken about those characters. No, seriously, you can see that Bert's life is kind of hard, And I found those characters very relatable, very human. I still do, and I still look to those characters for inspiration.
Thank you.
Hello.
You look awesome.
Thank you. There's a bunch of amazing songs on the show. I was wondering which one is your favorite to perform?
I'll start because I'm the oldest one. By the time he gets to Josh, he's got full Broadway numbers. But I like the Planet song. The song where I sing about the planets.
Yeah, mine was the Color song.
That's maybe the best song that was ever written.
Color song is a really, really good one. I
cheesy pizza because A, I love cheesy pizza, and B, that's next to what Steve wrote and directed, and we had such a great time working on it. So
We really did. We wanted that to be that tomorrow.
Yeah, and then
Well, we found all 3 clues and we know what to do. Cheesy pizza. But we weren't allowed to use it. Josh killed that song, man. Fun to write songs for a Broadway star. Very fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Howdy.
I was wondering what is one of your favorite fan mails or most touching ones that you remember throughout the years? It doesn't have to be from the beginning.
Well, Steve Pizza. My favorite piece of fan mail I ever got. I always change the kid's name because I always forget, but it said, "Dear Steve, I love your show. I want to be a pizza." Love, Brian. That's right. 2 more questions. I still have that one. So.
I love all of the stuff that I end up getting here with these. It's really, really nice every time I get it, a piece of mail or something that somebody, usually if it's something that somebody has drawn, I love it. I'm in. That's some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah, I just like when people come and say hi. I like it. I really like it. Just because, we get to meet people, the people that watch the show. We live in a vacuum otherwise, and I'm just grateful that, that they chose to do another season. And I got to be a guy, so, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so recently I was scrolling through the internet and I stumbled across a clip of Steve answering a question about how he wasn't the one who drew the clues.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if any of you attempted it or if after Steve they were like, no.
Tried, yeah. I mean, that was the idea, was that I would draw it. But you gotta understand, we had professional animators who couldn't do it. That is by far one of the hardest jobs on that show.
It's hard.
Because not only do you have to do them in a specific amount of time, half of them are in 3-point perspective. And you hold the notebook here, and the camera's here, and you gotta do it like this, and you can't see what you're drawing. It was impossible. It's like that was
Your hand
hard
can't
job.
shake, like you have that steady hand.
Yeah.
Crazy hard job.
Yeah.
And they can speed it up to an extent, but they can't do it that much. I know that I had to do the first couple because they were trying to find a match for my hand. And then I told my friends, because they asked me the same question, and I was like, yeah, I had to do a couple, but then Jason ended up replacing me, and it's like, you can tell because his hands are nicer, and they're like, oh yeah. I remember my grandma, she was holding my hand when she was alive, and she turns to me, she goes, Joshua, why do you have the hands of a flower? But none of the skills. So,
No, see, you tried drawing that cow.
it's hard. It's frustrating.
I think a lot when I was a kid drawing along with you.
They were hard. Some of those were so old. It's easy. You make it open for the nose and a line that goes around. The spots. Boom, there you go.
Well, that is our time today. I know a lot of you had questions that we weren't able to get to, but you all will be going back to your table soon, correct? Right, so feel free to go chat with Steve, Donovan, and Josh at their tables. One last thing before we go, can you just share a quick thank you to our fans here and what they mean to you by coming out to the show?
Guys, for real, I understand intellectually that we've not met and that I'm speaking to strangers in a sense, but this does feel to me like talking to an old friend. And I appreciate all of it. Thank you for all of your help. We never would have found, I still be trying to figure out which snack was a graham cracker. If it wasn't for all of you. And it means so much, and I appreciate you, so thank you.
And we know that some of you have gone long distances to be here. We appreciate all of your efforts, and we appreciate everybody's so patient in line. I'm amazed.
Yeah.
How do you get this patience? It's fantastic. So yeah, thank you so much for all of your efforts, and like, I don't know, Steve had some troubles getting here, and so, but he really, like, yesterday was just crushing him. He was like, because he wants to be here. It means a lot to us to be able that you're here, that you make the time and the effort, and that's the whole reason we're here. You know, it's pretty. We wanted to see you and meet you.
Yeah, I'm so thankful for everybody that came long distances, or even if you live in Des Moines. Thank you for coming. I went to my first convention last year at a time when I found out some very unfortunate news. And getting to meet the people that watched the show really made me feel so grateful to have had that time. And so I'm so thankful, and I'm indebted to you for showing me the way and this career, because I wouldn't be here without you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. One more time, please. Wipe your eyes. Put your hands together. Give it up for Steve, John, and Josh.
I just want to give a special shout out to the Gold Ranger members out there: the Arctic Operator, Roderick Ham, Papleon Purple, Salima Ramirez, Danny Nascimento, Stephen Heffelman, Chaos Draco, Thomas Franco, Anime King Nick, Louis Cairns, Miguel Ortiz, and Sean Schiffer. Thank you guys so much for your support, and if you want a video shout out like this one, sign up to be a Gold Ranger member today.
I just want to shout out all of the fans out there for taking the time out of their day to watch this content. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you can, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that share button. And if you guys want to be a member, click that join button right now. We have a Blue Ranger membership that gets you into the exclusive fan chat Discord. Then we have the Gold Ranger membership. It gets you into the fan chat, but you also get a video shout out at the end of every video. I want to thank you guys again. If you can, sign up to be a member. We will see you next time. Peace.
Hi, we're Bulk and Skull. We have been requested by the fan club to say something funny.